Hi, this is Diane from Teach Pre-K, and a lot of you have been writing in and commenting on how you feel like it's hard to plan, you are exhausted at the end of the day, you've got to use your whole weekend to plan and prep and make this great week for your kids. Well, I just sat down and I made 10 centers, 5 math, 5 literacy, using just pumpkin seeds, which you don't have to use. You can use beans, beads, whatever you want for little manipulatives. I have a pumpkin, which you don't need. You can cut pumpkins out of paper for this too. Glue stick, orange, green, and black markers, clothespins, Unifix cubes, and scissors, and paper in 4 colors: orange, white, green, and blue. And you really don't even need all 4 of those colors. You could do everything with orange and white. So I'm going to show you just how easy it is to plan a math and literacy center to cover every day of your week. It took me 30 minutes to do all this stuff. So easy. The first thing I did was I sat down and I wrote out what I wanted to do. And I'm like, okay, I want 5 math centers. I wrote down just 5 I knew would be super simple to prep. 5 literacy centers, did the same thing. And some of these have multi-purposes too. You can use these items that you're going to make over and over again. I did no laminating, no printing, nothing. You could, but you don't have to. So I've got a whole pumpkin unit full of adorable printables, crafts, science experiments, the whole bit. And I'll put a link to it down here, but I want to show you how you don't have to spend any money and you don't have to waste your whole weekend prepping in order to have 10 good centers ready to go. Okay, so without further ado, here I go. I'm going to go to my math centers first. Okay, so I used my orange paper and scissors and I cut out pumpkins. They are not perfect. How I did this was I had 2 pieces of paper together, folded it in fourths, and that got me 8 pumpkins. I can fold 1 more piece of paper in fourths, and that will get me my 0 and get me my 10. But here I only have 1 through 8. And gosh, it's pumpkin week. We're going to do lots of pumpkin stuff. I have some pumpkin seeds. So with this number 1, I could have a set of these on a table or in a tray, and I can say, read the number at the top, or I will help you put that many pumpkin seeds on the pumpkin. And we've got 1 pumpkin seed. You would do the same for every single number. For 2, and then I'm going to show you what I did for 3. For 3, and you can do this on all the pumpkins, I made 3 dots so the kids can see exactly where to place their pumpkin seeds to get 3 seeds. And that way I can be there guiding them, but they can still be fairly independent with this routine. Now, if you didn't have pumpkin seeds, you could use buttons, you could use beads, you could use pom-poms, you could cut little scraps of paper, you could cut little pumpkin seed shapes out of paper. Easy. I did no printing, and this literally took me, I don't know, 5 minutes to do 8 pumpkins. So super, super simple. Another thing you can do with these pumpkins is you can use them to put them in number order. You could do that too. Another quick center I did was for shapes, and I made little shape sorting mats. So this is circle, of course, rectangle, and I just made them look like little shaped pumpkins. oval, square, and triangle. And I think that's all I made. Yeah, I could make heart, star, hexagon, whatever. I just colored these with markers and put a face on with a Sharpie. Super easy. Then I went around my office and I gathered things just that I had here that are these shapes. In my classroom, I have a million more things. So I have tons of buttons and little color chips, but I have every shape. Rectangle, triangle, circle, oval, square. So I've got all these. So the idea would be to set out a container of shapes, set out the mats, and the kids just go through their container and put their shape on the correct mat. I didn't have to print anything. I didn't have to laminate anything. All I did was cut 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper in half, which you don't even have to do. You could make bigger mats and draw the pumpkins, which took no time at all. Super, super easy. So far, I've got 2 math centers done. All right, so then I love count and clip cards. My kiddos are great with them. So instead of going through getting clip art, a cute font, making, a bunch of squares and a grid, I just made my own pumpkin count and clip cards. So the object here is count the pumpkins, and you could put faces on them if you want. 1, 2, 3, 4. Choose the correct number underneath and use your fine motor skills. So you're counting, numeral recognition, fine motor skills, all in one center. So that is 3 math centers. Another math center. Now, I have got an actual little pumpkin, but I could cut a pumpkin out of paper. So my idea here is to stack Unifix cubes until I get them the height of my pumpkin. I could do this in patterns. I could do this any way I wanted. So this could be a group thing. If you had a giant pumpkin, you could have the kids. I am just stacking Unifix cubes right now, guys. And I'm guessing this was about as high, but it looks like I could do another Unifix cube. Then I can count my Unifix cubes. So I've got one-to-one correspondence. I've got measurements. If I had a smaller pumpkin or a bigger pumpkin, which if you just make them out of paper, how easy is that? You can count and compare and measure and compare. And I could also do this whole thing out of patterning. So I would have fine motor, patterning, one-to-one correspondence, counting and measuring, all in one math activity. Easy. Took me no time. And you guys, this pumpkin was 99 cents. So that was nothing. Okay. Another fun activity that I did was that same way that I cut out those pumpkins that I put the seeds on. I just folded paper in fourths and I made pumpkins with numbers on them and little faces. The idea is I'm going to stick tape on these guys and I'm going to stick them around my room or out in the hallway, or make it fun, grab a flashlight in the dark out in the hallway and go on a little pumpkin hunt. Give your kids one of these. They just check off. When they find the number 1, they check off 1. When they find 2, they check off 2. They might not find them in order, so tell them you need to find the number and check it off. That's it. I drew this. I did not copy it. I did not print it. Nothing. You could make it easier on yourself, and you could do this on a whole sheet or half sheet. You could do 2, copy it, cut them in half. You've got as much as you need for your class. They love, love, love this game. You can also use these pumpkins for a numerical order activity, or you could hide things under these pumpkins. You could cut out a circle. You could have an eyeball. You could have anything else flat. Hide it under these. They've got to tell you what number. The little fun thing would be really easy to cut out a black bat. So wherever, the bat is it under number 1, 2, 3, 4? Go and make as many pumpkins as you can for how advanced your class is. My pre-K could do 10. My preschool could do 4. Include 0. Mix it up a bit. Do this with letters if you want. So you guys, those math centers took no time to make. That was 5 math centers. We covered patterning, counting, one-to-one correspondence, numeral recognition, shapes, fine motor work, everything. So, wow, that was 5 almost no prep math centers. Now I did the same thing for literacy. I sat down and just thought, okay, I want 5 literacy centers. What can I do and what can I make really, really fast? Well, one thing I did was I cut out those same pumpkin shapes and I thought, we always need to do name activities. So I have these letters written out to make the name Leon. You could do upper and lowercase. This one here at the end is dotted so that Leon could trace his own letters. You could do that with all the letters. So you've got a writing and fine motor activity, a letter identification activity, and a name activity. I just stuck these on green paper with glue. You don't have to do that. You could string it together with string. You could use larger paper so they could all be lined up. However you want to do this. You could write all their letters down and make a little pumpkin patch, and they've got to go hunt for all their letters and then make their name. There's a ton of stuff you can do. And you guys, this was just scissors and orange paper, a glue stick, and a Sharpie. Piece of cake. Did not take me a million years to do. Okay, another thing that you could do, I'm going back to the pumpkin seed. You could do first letter of your name. Let's make it with pumpkin seeds. So write the first letter of their name on a piece of paper. Use a glue stick, glue on pumpkin seeds. You could do the same thing with their entire name. Do you have to use pumpkin seeds? No. You can use anything that you've got that you could build their name with. But here you go. So far, I have got 3 literacy activities ready to go. Just like the count and clip, I made uppercase letter match, lowercase letter match. Same idea. Look at the letter in the pumpkin, clip its lowercase match. Now, I've got letters all over my rug. I didn't have to write these down. I could just write every letter of the alphabet and we could do an upper to lowercase letter match. Or since the letters on my rug are lowercase, I could have done lowercase to lowercase letter match. But here I've got these little clip cards that everyone can use. Make 26 of them, piece of cake, pumpkin shape with a stem, and write your letters. Are they perfect? No, they're just fine. Can the kids tell what letters these are? Absolutely. And again, sound like a broken record. This took no time at all. And I've got another literacy center. So around about this time of year, 5 Little Pumpkins is a great rhyme. It's a good way to teach that rhythm of a poem. You can sing it. It has counting involved. It has ordinal numbers involved. So it's kind of a math activity, but I think it's also a literacy activity. So you could get the book 5 Little Pumpkins. You could just recite it. You could have it going on your smartboard. I drew a witch, a moon, and a fence on a piece of paper. I could go make color copies of these or grayscale copies of these and make one for every kid. I used a big hole punch to make these pumpkins. I could also just cut weird circles with my scissors. Are pumpkins all perfect round shapes? No. But as I'm saying the rhyme or reading the book, 5 Little Pumpkins, I can do 5 little pumpkins sitting on a gate. And we can start with our 5 pumpkins. We can lift the first one up and say, the first one says, oh my, it's getting late. The second one said, there are witches in the air. The third one said, but we don't care. The fourth one said, I'm ready for some fun. The fifth one said, let's run and run and run. I might have those two switched. I don't know. And then, ooh, went the wind and out went the light and take all the pumpkins off. And the 5 little pumpkins rolled out of sight. They can take these home in a little baggie, staple it to the back of this story retelling kit to take home, to do back in whole group, to do again and again and again, to put away and take out for another time when you can all do it together. So you guys, that was 5 math, 5 literacy activities for Pumpkin Week. Done. Took me less than 30 minutes of prep. If I did the whole alphabet and everything for everyone in the class, it might take me an hour to an hour and a half, but an hour to an hour and a half instead of my entire weekend sounds pretty good to me. So when I first started, just like you guys, if you are a new teacher, I felt like I was in my classroom till 5 or 5:30 every single night, most of the time the last car in the parking lot at the end of the day, and my entire weekend was spent prepping and planning. And yeah, it might seem that way at first when you don't like have ideas you can just pull up that quick, but spend a little bit of time on Teachers Pay Teachers and look up free resources for the theme that you're working on. You're going to find a lot. Plug in your grade level, free resources. Yes, you're going to use your printer and you're going to use your printer ink. So that might not be the way you want to go. But you can also look at those things and find ways that you can make them yourselves. You can also hit Pinterest, Facebook, YouTube, just like right here, and find so many other activities. I've got a lot of art activities as well, and maybe I'll hit those later in the week because I really have all my supplies at school. But here, I don't have everything I have at school. I don't have a copy machine. I don't have all the paper. I don't have all the extra markers, the glue sticks, the everything else. But I made do with what I had here at home, and I could find things that would work to create these centers. 10 centers, hour and a half. You can do this. You got this. So also, I had someone really cute ask me, I just can't seem to get ahead. Well, I'm going to tell you, if you're on fall break right now, use this last day to do 3 or 4 lesson plans. Get through Thanksgiving. I know it sounds like a lot, but if you can dedicate a couple of hours to getting to Thanksgiving, knowing what your themes are is the number one thing. The rest can come later, but know what your themes are. Know how many math centers, how many literacy centers, how many craft centers, how many science centers you want to do. When are specials going to get in the way? Do we have programs, etc., etc., so that you can slowly start thinking, gosh, I know I'm going to do, personally, I'm going to do weather and seasons unit after Halloween. So I've got pumpkins, Halloween, weather and seasons, and then I have Thanksgiving, and I don't know, I'm going to have to look. I think I might have 2 weeks of Thanksgiving, but I'm already prepping. I already have things ready for my Halloween week. I already have things ready for my weather week. I'm already thinking about Thanksgiving because I know it's coming. Over Thanksgiving, I will plan through Christmas. I will start getting stuff ready. Over Christmas break, I will plan all of January. So that way, I'm staying ahead. I know I want to teach next year, so I'm going to prep more stuff than what I need. So next year, I might not need to prep anything, or I won't need to prep as much. One year I went ahead and prepped double everything, which, yes, did take a lot of time on the front end, but the next year I hardly had to do anything. I did so that I would have that same experience the following year, but you have got this. You can do it. Just get ahead. As you're thinking, start making a running list of supplies that you need. Keep it handy. And then next year, you've got it. Put it in your planning bin, in your planning folder, in your teacher notebook, somewhere where you're going to be able to see it so you can stay ahead for next year. So I hope that helped you with your next week's planning and planning through Christmas. I'll do this again next week with Halloween things, and maybe even midweek for just a few crafts that we can throw in here and there. But thanks again for watching. Hit the subscribe button. I'll put the link to my pumpkin lesson plan that has everything done for you already. If you want to go that route, you can go that route too. But anyway, have a great weekend.